Welcome to the Westcott Crochet channel and welcome to Nothing But Net. If you like the look of this shirt, send a message to YouTube by tapping the like button. If you want to see more projects, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. This is a quick easy make that's gentle on your yarn stash. I came in at just under 600 meters for a European size medium. Any yarn recommending a 4mm hook will create a similar result. I used the recommended 4mm. I also used a tape measure and a yarn needle to weave in my ends and to attach buttons. I'd love to know where in the world you're watching from today, so don't be shy, let me know in the comments box. I look forward to hearing from you. Starting today with a 4mm hook, I'm going to make a chain the length that I want my shirt to be. This stitch pattern and the direction that I'm working in is going to stretch a lot widthwise, so I just need to bear that in mind when I work my start chain, just to give you an idea how much it stretches. My start chain of 100 stitches is going to be about 64 centimeters long, and the finished shirt ends up about 56 centimeters. So make some extra chains, longer than you think it's going to be, or it needs to be. So I'm going to chain 100. The chain count needs to be divisible by 4, so with 100, I'm good. I have 100 chains. I'm going to chain an extra 3. And then I'm going to count down 7. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn the chain over and I'm going to work a single crochet into that back bump. So insert my hook, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Then I'm going to chain 5. I'm going to skip 3 chains into the 4th chain, single crochet, chain 5, skip 3 into the 4th, single crochet. I'm going to do that the whole way down my chain, back when I'm at this end. I'm here at the end. I've got 4 stitches left. So my last chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And single crochet into stitch number 4. And that's it for row 1. For row 2 and every other row until the end, start with a chain 6. Flip around and single crochet around the chain from the last row. Chain 5. Single crochet around the chain, next one. Chain 5. Next chain, single crochet around the chain. And that's what I'm going to do from here on. So chain 5 and single crochet into every chain, just around the chain. At the end, chain 6 and work back with chain 5s in between. So only chain 6 at the start of every new row. I'm going to keep going till I get the width that I like. This is going to be the back panel, and I'm going to work a width that goes from the edge of my shoulder to the edge of my other shoulder, and just with a little bit of an overhang. If you've got a shirt that fits well, you like the fit of, then measure it and copy the measurements for that shirt. Otherwise, just, as I say, measure shoulder to shoulder from the edge of to the other edge of. I'm going to stretch it whilst I'm working to get that measurement, not to its absolute limit, but just a little bit, so that it looks good on when worn. After 35 rows, this is what I have. I actually stretched it out and just let it bounce back and take its own shape. So I'm just going to work a finishing edge down here. I'm going to show you how that works just to close off once you've got the width that you need. So once you've got the width, you just need to work a final edging row. So I still chain 6, turning around, still single crochet around the chain, but this time instead of chaining 5, I'm just going to chain 3 and then single crochet into the next chain, chain 3, single crochet around the next loop, chain loop, and I'll just do that the whole way down, and it just flattens out the bump and gives a flatter edge. At the end I can chain 1 and cut. So I have a completed back panel now. I'm going to make 2 front panels and they're going to be half the width, each of them is going to be half the width of the back. However, I'm only going to be joining up to 1/3 across on each side, and then I'm going to create a scoop on each side for the neckline. So I've got 36 rows now. Half of 36 is 18, so each side panel will be 18 rows wide. I'm going to work 1/3 of the width and then I'm going to come back. So for me, 1/3 of 36 is 12, so I'll chain 100. I'll work 12 rows and I'll come back and show you how to work the scoop. I've worked my 12 rows from my front panel, the first front panel. I've actually worked most of the 13th row. The difference is at the end here. So work all the way up the 13th row as normal, and when I get to the top, I've still chained 5 and I'm just going to single crochet around my chain here. I'm not going to do any more, so I'm going to leave this one and then I'm going to chain 6. I'm going to work back down, then I'm going to work all the way back up, and I'm going to leave the last one empty again. We're back at that point. I'm back again, just 2 hoops or 2 loops from the top. I've worked my 5 chains and a single crochet into the penultimate loop. Leave that one empty, and I'm going to chain 6, work back down, work back up. This time I'm going to work all of the loops. So into that one on the return, I'll be back there. Okay, back at the top, I've just worked the penultimate loop. Here's the last loop. So I said I'm going all the way to the top this time. And into the last loop with my single crochet. Then I'm going to turn with the chain 6. Single crochet into the first loop, chain 3, single crochet into the next loop, chain 3, and work that way the whole way down to close off this panel. At the end I can chain 1 and cut my yarn. I have my completed front panel now. We've made a little scoop for the neck. I just need to do that all over again for the other side, where it will be flipped to form the second panel. So exactly the same thing. Same number of chains, same number of rows, work the scoop, and then it just literally flips over to form the other side. Now that I have a back panel and 2 front panels, I just need to join at the tops here. So I have the sides that I want facing outside on the inside facing each other. And I'm just going to work a seam across the shoulder. Okay, so just to work the seam, here at the back, on the back panel, I have a single crochet. On the other side, it will be a chain, so the situation is reversed. On the front panel, I have the chain. I'm going to go into the single crochet on the back panel and into the 1, 2, 3rd chain on the front panel. Now, I have yarn attached because I left a long tail, but if not, add on a slip knot. Pull it through. Oops. It will let me. And chain 1. Now into each loop gap, I'm going to put 3 single crochets. So into the first one, both sides. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to leap over to the next one. 1, 2, and 3rd. Over to the next one, same thing. And for the next 3, I have 6 to match up in total. That's all of my 6. Chain 1, pull my cut yarn through, and that's 1 seam. And that's how it looks on the right side. I need to do the same thing on the other side. The back one I've done. So my 2 shoulders seamed up. Next I'm going to work some sleeves. For my sleeve I've started with a chain of 60, which is the length that I want it to be, minus the cuff. As with other panels, I chain an extra 3 and 7 stitches down, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do the first single crochet. From here on it's exactly the same as all the other panels. Chain 5, skip 3 into the 4th, and I will work the width of the sleeve, make sure it goes all the way comfortably around my arm, and then I'll come back to show you how to join and work a cuff. I've worked my sleeve panel. I've worked 26 rows, including the finished row with the 3 chains in between. I'm just going to stretch it out and just let it fall back naturally to its natural shape. Okay, to seam that up now, I'm going to fold it over. The good side is going to be on the inside, and I'm going to work a slip stitch seam into the inside loop, so the loops that are closest to each other on the edge. So this one on this side, and this one on this side. So into the first one, I'll just come in a bit closer. So first edge, in through that back loop, so the inside loop. There's the other side, I've got a chain start. So 1, 2, 3 chains along, inside loop, yarn over, and pull through everything to slip stitch. Next one, inside loop on the next stitch. Oops, it'll let me get in. Inside loop on the next chain, and yarn over and slip stitch. So all the way, just picking up the 2 loops from each side until I get to within about 9 stitches, 9 or 10 stitches from the end. So that's the seam. I've left 9 stitches at the end, which isn't joined. I'm going to single crochet down these 9 stitches, and I'm going to try and get into the top loops. It's a bit fiddly, but there's only 9 of them, so it's not too bad. So in through the top loops, I might have to nudge them on a little bit. There we go. Just down this one side for now. All right, I'm just going to struggle along with this, and we're back at the end. There's my 9 single crochets, just reinforcing that edge there because it's going to be left open. So from here, I'm going to add a cuff. I'm going to chain 10. I'm going to chain an extra one to turn, and I'm going to work back down the chain with 10 single crochets. So not into the turn chain, starting second loop from the hook. There's my 10 single crochets. I'm just going to single crochet twice around the gap, skipping that first one, just working right into that gap. Then I'm going to turn around. I'm going to work back up. So third loop from the hook, those are the slip stitches I've just worked, those 2, and I'm going to go into the back loop with a single crochet. Again, back loop, single crochet. So I'll work 10 of those. I'll chain 1 at the end, and I'll work back down again into the back loops with single crochet stitches. That's the next 10 back loop stitches into the next gap. I'm going to just get that out of the way, single crochet twice, and then I'm going to work my way back up and back down, and I'm going to do that all the way around. So every time I go up and down, I leap right into the next gap, 2 single crochets, into the next gap, into the next gap, until I've worked all the way around the end of my sleeve. So again, going back up, remembering that those first 2 stitches are the stitches that I've just worked. So into the back loop of the third, and work my 10. I've worked all the way around the edge of my sleeve with the cuff. I'm on to the last row. I've got 1 loop left to single crochet into. This was the last one that I attached into. So I've chained 1 at the end of the row. I'm going to work 3 back loop single crochets as normal. Then I'm going to chain one. I'm going to skip that stitch into the next two with regular back loop single crochet. Then I'm going to chain one, skip the next stitch, 3 back loop single crochets into the last 3. So now I have 2 little buttonholes on the cuff. Then last loop, 1 single crochet in there this time. I don't need 2 because I'm not going back up, so just the 1 to close that one off. And then I've got my 9 stitches along the open edge of the sleeve, so I'm just going to work those single crochet into the top loops. So I'll struggle along with these off camera. I'll be back when I've worked my 9. There's my 9, edging that second side. Now I'm going to go in through the first stitch on both sides, pull through a slip knot, chain 1 to secure, and my yarn's cut, pull it through. So that just joins the 2 at the base. And that's a finished sleeve. Also need to make 1 more of those and then attach them both. So here's a sleeve that's already attached. I've worked around the edge, over the top and around the other side, just joining sleeve to body, and then I joined up the side to finish off. I'm going to show you how on the other side. So here's the body section. Here is the sleeve to be attached. I'm still inside out. I have 13 spaces to join through, and I'm going to join with 3 stitches in each into 13 spaces around here. Well, it's an uneven number, so my top space on my sleeve is actually going to be matched with 4 stitches, 2 in each around the top here. So I just need to count down, make sure that I've got the right amount of gaps around the sleeve hole, because I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay, so for me, the top 2 loops are going to be taken up with uneven number 7 around my sleeve, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've inserted my hook into the single crochet at that row. I'm just going to orientate myself to join up the sleeve now. So I'm into my single crochet stitch, as I said, 7 loops down on this side to coincide with the loops that I have on my sleeve. I've gone into the single crochet at the seam on my sleeve at the bottom. I'm going to stick on a slip knot. Here's one I prepared earlier. Pull that through. And chain 1. Okay, so just pull that tight. Get that tail end out of the way. There. All right, so into the first gap, 3 single crochets on both sides. Just knitting them together or crocheting them together. Into the next one, just going for this one side of the sleeve, so the other side is just left flopping about for now. So the 2 corresponding gaps, 3 single crochets. Next one, 3 in there. Next pair, 3 in there. Next pair, 3 in there, till I get to the top. that's one side all attached. I'm here at the top where my shoulder seam is. So for the next loop on the sleeve, I'm going to attach it into these 2 loops on the shoulder. So in through the first one with 2 single crochets, over to the other side, same hole, same gap on the sleeve, different gap on the body, so it's the other side on the body, the seam, 2 in there, and then work my way down the other side, next gap on both, 3 stitches, next gap on both, 3 stitches, 3 stitches until I get round to the bottom. So here I've worked all the way around my sleeve, joining loops from the sleeve to loops from the body, 3 stitches in each, or around each. So I'm just falling off the table. And I need to join the sides. And it's the same situation, matching loop to loop on both sides, 3 stitches in each loop. So I'm going to just reinforce this bottom edge by just going in through both sides at the bottom of the sleeve and pull through a slip knot. And then I'm going to start matching my side loops. So here's the first one. Get my tail ends out of the way so I can see. So 3 single crochets around there. Next, 3 around there. And so on. Just working my way all the way down, 3 in each. Joined all the way down the side, so just in at the bottom here, I've inserted my hook through the bottom corner on both, and slip stitch through, chain 1 to secure, cut my yarn. I've attached 2 sleeves and worked 2 seams down the sides, and this is where I am now. You'll see that a front trim has appeared along with some buttons, also on the cuffs. I need to work a front trim on the other side now, so let's crack on. The trim is worked in the same way on both sides, except there's no holes for buttons on this side. I've just attached the buttons where I wanted them to go. And on this side I'll be making buttonholes to correspond with the places I've attached buttons. So I'm in to the first stitch in this bottom corner, on with a hook, slip knot, sorry, pull through, chain 1, 2, 3, plus an extra 1 to turn. I'm going to work back down the chain in the back bumps with single crochet. So just 3 for me. There we go. And then into the back loops of the stitches along the opening here, along this edge, I'm going to slip stitch. So into 1, slip stitch, into 2, slip stitch again. Then I want to turn around and work my 3 stitches again. So that's through both loops with a regular single crochet. Okay, then I'll chain 1 to turn and turn back and do the same thing again. This time I'm going to put a buttonhole. So I work the first stitch, So I'm going to chain 1, skip the second stitch, work the third, and that leaves a hole for a button. Slip stitch twice up the edge, turn around, work my 3 stitches again. In total this time, because I don't need a buttonhole, so 1, 2 and 3, chain, turn, and back I go. I'm going to do that all the whole way up. Every time I need to put a buttonhole, I do the chain 1 instead of working the stitch, and work the stitches on either side. And I'll just work all the way up to the top. I'll be back when I get to the top section. I've worked all the way up my second edge. I'm just here at the top by the loop, the final loop at the scoop. So I'll chain 1 to work back down, work my 3 stitches, and I have 5 chains. I'm going to slip stitch twice into the chain, back loops off, the other 3 chains stay empty, and then I'm going to work back down my 3 stitches. And that's it for the front trim. So that's how this looks with both sides worked on the trim. Attach buttons into the centre stitch or around the centre stitch, just so that it matches up with the centre buttonhole on the other side, and obviously don't work the buttonholes on this side. So next I need to add a collar. For the collar, just starting in where I left off on the trim, I've chained 1 at the end. I'm going to work the first 2 stitches together as a decrease. In through the first, pull up a loop, in through the second, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then 1 stitch into the next one, and then I'm into the chains. So this is my first chain, which is kind of half a chain. I'm going to put 3 stitches. Going to leap over to the next one, and I'm going to work 4. Over to the next one, 4 again. This one's a bit sticking out, but treat it in the same way. 4 again. On to the next one, another 4. You see that sort of brings that into line. Onto the corners, 4 in each, all the way around, right back to here where I'll work the last 2 stitches together. Worked all the way around my collar. I'm at the half chain next to the trim. So as with the other side, just 3 around the half chain, stitch on the trim on its own, last 2 work together to decrease. And that's row 1. I just flipped around for row 2, chain 1 and turn, work the first 2 stitches together, and then 1 stitch in each all the way around until I get to the other side, where I'll work the last 2 stitches together. That's round 2. I'm going to take another trip around and do exactly the same thing again. Decrease into the first 2, decrease into the last 2. That's the end of row 3 on the collar. From row 4 onwards, last slight change. Instead of chaining 1 at the beginning, I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to work from the second chain and go all the way around 1 stitch in each. At the end, I'll chain 2, work from the second chain all the way back around, 1 stitch in each, and I'll just keep doing that then, repeating the same process around and around, chaining 2 at the end of each row until I get the length that I want. I worked 10 rows on the collar, including the first 3 with the reductions. I've got some ends now to weave in, and then I'm done. If you do all of that, you will have one of these. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. A huge thank you to those who already have. You can now also follow me on Instagram, where I try and post a sneaky preview on any upcoming tutorials.